Hello and welcome. This video is going to be a what sold video. This is going to be for the week of March 8th to March 14th. I know I am 2 months behind, but you know what? I'm still pretty much selling the same type of item. The only difference seems to be is I sell more sweaters and coats in winter and I sell more shorts in summer. That seems to be the only difference, but I don't think the stuff I sell, since I sell so much vintage, is really that different. Also because I sell a lot of different things, pretty much just sell whatever I'm listing at the time. So I'm going to scoot back and we're going to start over with Poshmark, because I start with my lowest performing platform first and work my way up. And Poshmark is actually the lowest performing platform, but I did make a sale on all 3 platforms. This Bowden dress, you can see here that I modeled it because it did fit me. And it's 100% linen, which is why I picked it up. I was getting excited to be able to wear this dress, but again, it sold at the beginning of March, which is when the weather started to warm up, and it sold for $30, which I thought was most excellent as far as I was concerned. I paid $6 for this at a thrift store. And then I'm gonna scoot over here. Miss Moxie is down below again, wandering around, so you may or may not see her this video. It just depends on her, because she's a cat and cats get to do whatever they want to do. My Etsy store is set up to where if someone spends more than $35, they get free shipping. Some people take advantage of that, some people don't. I need to put more stuff onto my Etsy store so that way more people can take advantage of it. But somebody actually decided to buy 2 items. They bought this 80s Oak Hill roll tab top, which I didn't realize until this sold that it actually was only listed on Etsy. If I'd have known that, I would have cross-posted it to other places, but it sold in the only platform it was listed on. And then also this Webster pottery sheaf of wheat, which is something I listed for Money Pile Monday, so I was super grateful that this sold. So these 2 together sold for a total of $55. Shipping was roughly around $12, so I made really great profit. I paid $5 for the wheat canister and I paid $1 for the top. So $6 into roughly 40. Pretty happy with that. Again, I love Etsy. It's my set it and forget it platform, especially since I sell so much vintage. Once I get it cross-posted over there, I'm good to go. Super happy with that. And now we're going to go over to eBay, which is my main bay, and I have quite a few sales to share with you all. And I have quite a few viewer sales for this week, which is incredibly humbling. So I'm going to say thank you here in advance. If this is for ones that I remembered or had a note that was sent to me, that I remembered there was a separate note sent to me. So if I forgot you, I'm so sorry. Please leave a comment down below and I will make sure to reply and thank you. But every time I get a viewer sale, it just means the world to me, because you guys know how much I pay for stuff. So the fact that you're willing to support me and my business by buying it from me, it just means a lot. So thank you. So the first person I have to thank is Tracy. She bought 3 items from me. She bought this Martha Stewart's cookbook, which Tracy, if you have made anything from there, please let me know, because I have the same cookbook and I haven't tried any recipes yet. So if you found a favorite, please let me know what it is. She also bought these precious little salt cellars that I got at an estate sale. She also bought this Meat for Thrifty Meals, which was a home economics thing that was given out to women about how to like make meals for the family on a budget, but this was given in like a home economics class, and I just thought it was really neat. I also picked this up at an estate sale. I paid like 10 cents for it, so it wasn't that much. Normally what happens is I'll come up with a handful of pamphlets and they're like, it's 50 cents. Okay. So I really appreciate, Tracy, that you picked all this up for me, especially that you gave the salt cellars a new home, because I thought they were too precious to go on a trash, which is where they would have gone. And then of course also the Martha Stewart cookbook was so awesome. I bought it twice from the bins. So thank you for taking care of my other copy. And again, if there's any recipes in there you think I should try, please let me know and I will give it a go. I need to film another thrifted treat. I haven't done one in forever and I just need to fix that. So the next one is another viewer sale. This is Nancy. Nancy bought 1 book for her and 1 book for her husband. We have the Line of the North, which is a book about Scotland, and then Art of Fine Baking. Believe it or not, the Scotland book is for Nancy and the baking book is for her husband, which I thought was super cute. But Nancy, thank you so much. I hope both of you enjoyed your books from me, and I do appreciate y'all giving these vintage books a new home. This thick boy of books, can you tell this is from a Money Pile Monday that I listed a bunch of books from? That's pretty much what happened, and then y'all just were like, hey, thanks for finally listing these. Here, you should definitely list Miss More Your Death Pile. We're gonna buy it if you list it. It was nice, like it was immediate satisfaction. So as someone with ADHD, I appreciate that instant gratification. These all sold to Melissa, who is the Thrifty Broad here on YouTube. I will make sure to link her channel up above because she is a treat. She does a lot of bins hauls. She lives on the West Coast, so if you're someone who loves the bins as much as I do, but is much better about actually getting all of it listed, go give her a follow. But she bought a vintage 2003 copy of Jane Eyre because she's wanting to read more this year. Same. She also bought a copy of Little Women's, which is the Everyman's Library. This is the first one of these that I find. I have rarely found any of the Everyman's Library, despite the fact that they are talked about quite frequently on BookTube. She also bought a vintage Betty Crocker book, and I'm guessing the John Gribben book is for your husband. Or maybe you're just, I piqued your interest in John Gribben because I have a book from him that I read when I was 14. He makes quantum mechanics and quantum theory very easily accessible, at least in my personal opinion. I know it doesn't sound like, it sounds more complicated than it really is. He does a really great job about breaking down the different theories into more simplistic language so it's easier for people to understand. But I really liked John Gribben, his first book that I read. I thought about keeping this one, but I'm glad it did go to a good home. So Melissa, thank you very much. And again, if you are interested in bins hauls or reselling, she's another full-time reseller. Her channel's linked up above. This is something I picked up for Thriftmas. I paid $3 for this at the Diversity Thrift in Richmond, and it sold for my full asking price. Fred Perry is not only a great brand that I found out about from Matt's Menswear Manifesto, but it also sells great for women as well. I found two pieces at Diversity Thrift and both of them sold. This one sold for my full asking price. It was new with tags, and it was the Amy Winehouse collaboration that they did together, and this one sold for $49.87. So amazing sale, great profit. Again, Diversity Thrift, that was awesome. I recently went up there as I teased earlier with my Asteroids shirt, so that will be a haul coming up a little bit later this month. But great place, love it. This I picked up at an estate sale where they had so many clothes. I paid roughly about $3 for this at that estate sale. It sold immediately. LL Bean is a brand that I will pick up at the thrift store if it is full price, if it is an older piece, but these modern pieces also sell really well, and I will pick them up if I find them for under like $3 or less, which I normally pick it up at the bins. So this was a V-neck plaid, perfect flannel, and it sold for my full asking price of $19.87. This is a lot of reading books I found at the bins. These were all hardcovers, so they were 50 cents a piece. I don't just sell individual books, I do sell lots if I can make and find them. This lot of books was missing a couple of them. They still sold for $14.50, so I saved some books from getting thrown away from the landfill, and also I was able to give a good deal to either a homeschool person or a teacher. Don't know which one of the two it was, but happy about that. A set of 4 Anchor Hawking glasses. These tartan glasses I have bought and sold, in addition to Brett gave me a set as well. Don't worry, Brett, I still have them. I buy them whenever I find them because these are like solid heavy duty vintage glassware. I have literally dropped one of these before onto tile and it bounced. So I'm not saying that they're all gonna do that. I'm just saying it's solid glassware. These sold for $15 and the buyer paid $15 for shipping. Again, these are heavy glasses. So super happy that these went on to new home. I paid roughly $2 for these at a thrift store. This I have Michael to thank for, not because he I think I have Michael to thank for this, not because he bought it from me, but because I think this is one of the gifts that he gave me a while ago. He gifted me a bunch of scarves, and because he knows I like selling them, and this one sold for my full asking price of $9.87. This is Avon. Avon is an MLM, has been an MLM that's been around for forever, but this sold, and again, Michael, thank you if this is indeed one of the ones that you sent me, which I'm almost 100% sure. This item is another success story for Money Pile Monday. This is a SNES cartridge for Diddy Kong. I rarely find video games in my area that are priced where I could pick them up. I found a bunch of these 3.5 years ago at the Dab in Gloucester. I paid $4 for it. It sold for $15. I have no way to test them. That's why they sat around in a pile for 3.5 years. I eventually was just like, you know what? I'll just put untested. Someone will figure it out. Sold for $15. Glad it's gone. This is another thing I picked up for Thriftmas. This is Bill Murray's golf brand, which I did not realize until somebody commented it. So whoever commented that, thank you very much. Sold for $25 and the buyer paid for shipping. This was white and a men's XL. So this was exciting to find something that was white that was not stained and actually sold well and quickly. So this was a great find for Thriftmas. This is the only Diane von Furstenberg piece I have ever found. I do not find her stuff at all in my area, but some of her stuff can sell very well. These are a pair of vintage boots from the Y2K era, and I know that because I saw Y2K era stars wearing these. I should have included those photos in this listing, but I did not think about it at the time. This is a pair of embroidered boots. They were a size 6, so not a size I like picking up very often. I paid $8 for these at New to You, which is a thrift store in Williamsburg that I love going to. And I'm just glad that these sold. They sold for my full asking price of $34.87, but they did take a while to sell. It took about 1.5 years for them to sell, basically until Y2K became popular, and then they sold. So there's that. So sometimes trends changing can be a good thing as a reseller. These are the vintage black glass ware that I found at the thrift store in Pocosin. Is a milk crate I got for $14. Had a bunch of different pieces. So I sold 3 of the salad plates and then 1 dinner plate. Again, they had hard water staining on some of the plates, so I just disclosed them. They still sold. I do like to, when I get a big set, normally sell everything off individually. I've had a lot of success doing it that way. So again, my initial buy cost was $14, and in total these sold for $36.48. So I've already doubled my money, and I still have a ton of pieces to sell. This is something that you guys saw me wear before, and also something that was in my closet, a Lucky Brand item that I decided to go ahead and list and let go of. It sold for $9. Again, perfectly happy with that. I paid like $4.50 for this, so I doubled my money and I got to wear it. That is perfect for me. I love doing that. It's one of my favorite things about being a reseller. This is a vintage dress that I believe I picked up at a thrift store. I paid $5 for this. I think it's at the CHKD by my house is the thrift store I picked it up at. Sold for my full asking price of $24.87. Miss Joni of California, the style of dress is a waitress style of dress. This would have been normal for waitresses you saw at diners or cafeterias. This is what they would have worn. I did disclose that in the listing, but if you see a style of dress like this, I would recommend picking it up because there is a market for it, unless you don't like selling dresses. Again, you do you. This is just what I recommend doing because I love selling vintage. This actually took a little bit longer to sell than I thought. I actually had listed this just before, like in September last year. So I thought someone would have bought it for Halloween, but somebody just bought it to wear it as a dress, which is a-okay. This is a Lenox piece. I don't pick up a lot of modern Lenox. I do tend to pick up only vintage Lenox because it was made in the USA, and I have a lot better sell-through rate as far as that goes. Despite the fact that this is modern Lenox, it was brand new. It still had the original barcode, UPC barcode on it, because there is a Lenox store in Williamsburg. So when I saw this at an estate sale for $8, you best believe I scooped that puppy up. And it actually immediately sold after I listed it. I listed it for Money Pile Monday. I've had this for almost a year before I listed it. And it sold almost immediately on offer for $58. So 8 to 58. Nice $50 profit after, you know, finally listing it. So again, Money Pile Monday, it's paying off. Very happy that this has moved on to a new home and I no longer own it. It's great. This is a vintage Pendleton sweater. This is from the 80s. It had shoulder pads, which I disclosed in it, which is why Karen looks like this. Well, Karen basically looks like me when I sit up straight. But it's purple, and I've mentioned multiple times, purple people love purple. And this sold pretty quickly after I listed it, finally, for $20, and I am really happy about that. I love my purple people. Y'all are amazing. This is another viewer sale, so Julie, thank you very much. This is something I picked up at the bins for 25 cents, and she paid my full asking price of $14.87 for this journal. So Julie, I hope you're loving it, and thank you very much. This is another vintage piece. This is from the 70s or 80s. This is the JCPenney Western shirt. I thought it would sell faster than it did, but that's okay. You guys know I love to sell my pearl snaps. I will pick up vintage pearl snaps whenever I find them if they're for the right price. You know, I wouldn't have paid $10 for this at a thrift store, but I would definitely pay $4 for it, which is what I did. And it sold on offer for $13, so perfectly happy with that. This next sale is another viewer sale. This is a giant sale. So Dot, thank you very much. Dorothy has been a big viewer and supporter of my channel, and I very much appreciate you, and especially since you guys never got to see. This is the thrift haul that got lost when my computer hard drive died. So I got everything here at the Williamsburg Goodwill, and I had originally picked everything up here for Thriftmas. It was my first time finding Johnny Was, and I managed to find a Johnny Was dress in the size 2XL. And it was gray, it was gorgeous, and Dot, I hope this was for you and that you love it and that you maybe wore it for Mother's Day, because I'm sure you would have looked amazing in it, or you do look amazing in it. It was just such a flattering, it was like such a nice drape. It had beautiful embroidery around the collar. There she is, just for you, Dot. And she also purchased a pair of Torrid Boyfriend jeans from me as well, and then a Duluth Trading Co. flannel in a size 2XL. So I'm guessing the 2XL was either for her son or for her husband. But Dot, thank you so much. This was an incredibly generous purchase from you, especially since you know I'm also a reseller. So I appreciate it. I hope you love the pieces. Moxie also hopes you love the pieces. Hello. It keeps a roof over my head and it keeps a roof over her head. So Dot, thank you very much. This was a huge sale, and I greatly appreciate it. And I'm glad that my first time finding Johnny Was actually went to a theater. That just made me really happy. I do like picking up media when I find it. It's just rare that I find it worth reselling, but I will pick up sealed CDs when I find them. This is the brand new Heavies. This is from 2006, and it sold for my full asking price of $6.87. I picked this up at the yard sale for $1. This is something I picked up at an estate sale for $5, I think. It had all the spoons with it. This is a mid-century wall pocket that was also a spoon set, and it sold for $17 on offer, on the buyer paid for shipping. Again, this is another Money Pile Monday thing that sold as soon as I listed it. And then this is another viewer sale. This sold to Keith. He said he was super happy to have bought this and supported me by purchasing it. Unfortunately, the text is too small. He said, but it's a beautiful hardcover book. It'll look great on my shelves. But unfortunately, the typeface is too small for me to read it. So Keith, thank you for wanting to keep it. You could have easily have returned it if you wanted to. Honestly, if you still want to return it, I will happily accept the return. But I do appreciate you purchasing this from me, and that at least it looks nice on the shelf. So I have mentioned that the 505 is fastly becoming my favorite type of jean from Levi's to pick up. I pick up 560s and 505s whenever I find them when they're vintage, because, well, all 560s are vintage, but Not all 505s are vintage. The 505 is still being made, but if I find made in the USA, I will pick it up. These are from the 90s, and this is... Hi, Editing Bob here with my producer, Miss Moxie, to let you know that I realized I kept saying 505 when I'm talking about this pair of jeans. This is a pair of 550s. 550s for women in Levi's are no longer being made. It is the tapered or carrot style, however you want to say it, leg with the high mom waist, and they don't make this anymore. So the 550s are still being made for men, so you do have to double check that. But that is why these sold so quickly, is because this is a style that's no longer being made. So 550s, great for women if you get the vintage, and then 550s for men, not so much because of the fact that they are still being made, so you just have to double check that. But again, anything that is Levi's made in the USA, I will normally pick up. And black denim, I will pick up. And Miss Moxie wants all the pets, so I'm gonna give you back to Wrong Bob, and she'll finish the video for you. This one sold for $20, and again, black denim sells great, and this sold very quickly. Another Money Pile Monday success story. I don't know what my block was for these two things. The one that I thought would sell first still hasn't sold, but this one sold. It sold for $20, and I offered free shipping on it. It actually didn't cost that much to ship it because I was able to ship it first class due to the fact that it was aluminum. So it was very lightweight, so I'm very happy that this sold, and I finally don't have this in my house because this took up quite a bit of space. So I still have the other one, but that's okay. This is a pair of vintage Wranglers. I only pick up Wranglers if they are vintage because Wrangler is a cheap brand, but that's okay. That's kind of what they're known for, is being a cheap workwear, like an everyman's brand. These sold for $14, and the reason I picked these up is because these were the loose fit Carpenters that were very popular in the 90s. This is a pair of Libby Tempo glasses. I definitely recommend picking these up whenever you find them. I don't normally pick up clear glass, but these were really cool, and if they didn't sell, I was perfectly okay with keeping them. If you could find the smoke colored one, so it looks like brown kind of amber looking glasses, or if you can find the primary colors, those ones sell much better. But it's an interesting, it looks like a stemless wine glass, but then it has this weird handle that doesn't actually close at the top. It's an interesting mid-century piece, and that's why I picked them up, is because I knew that, first of all, I knew these were Libby, and also that open-ended handle is very distinct, and that I knew that these were mid-century barware. So listed them, they're gone. I paid like $2 for them, sold for $9.25 like as soon as I listed them, which for clear glass is a miracle. Another pair of vintage 90s. These are the 512s. These were made in the USA, and again, I will pick up any black denim that is vintage that I find because it sells for me. I don't know what it is. Black denim always sells faster for me than any other type of denim, especially vintage black denim. And the last item I have to share with you is this pair of Eileen Fisher pull-on pants. These I had sold before, and then they were returned to me for fit, and then they sold again for the same price for $20, and of course the buyer paid for shipping. So I actually initially had bought these for myself, but they didn't fit. They fit everywhere but around the waist because I have a small waist and a big butt. So it fit my butt and thighs, but like was too loose around the waist. So I'm so glad that these sold again, and that they are going to stay at their forever home. And they sold for $20, and I paid $5 for these at the CHKD by my house. So that is everything I sold for that week. Again, trying to catch everything up. I know these sales are 2 months old, but pretty much I think would sell now because denim sells year round, vintage sells year round, and then books sell year round, and most of them are viewer sales anyway. So thank you guys so much. I do appreciate all your support. I really do. Just watching the video is amazing, but you guys supporting my small business and allowing me to continue doing this year means the world to me. So thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye. Bye.
Hero, 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 hero. I wanna be a hero, hero. Oh, the hero.